at least that one lasted for a little while, almost 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably like an hour and a half now.
Yeah, he really don't like this live shit.
Yeah. Let's keep going in that Solomon.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 16. Thus, in the process of time, an ungodly custom grew strong, was kept as a law, and graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
So it's the same thing today. Particular ungodly customs that was started back then, now are they being kept today, man?
Yeah.
And we're telling you, like, no, the origin of that is ungodly, and your participation, going back to this, the ungodly and his ungodliness, are both alike hateful. Like, look, if you celebrate Easter, Christmas, Valentine's Day, you're doing these things, it makes you ungodly, man, and the Lord is angry with you. And there's no excuse for it. It's for the children, or it's for this. Well, God know my heart, and he know what I'm thinking of. No. These are ungodly customs. And if you continue to participate in it, then his wrath and judgment is going to come upon you, man. Simple as plain.
You're going to get burnt with the idols. They try to because these different customs have been watered down to a certain extent from its original, like Halloween. Right. They used to really take fucking babies, nigga. They used to literally take kids.
Or the Yule Log.
Yeah.
They used to really sacrifice.
They used to really sacrifice. They used to really have orgies.
Ishtar, this day, Easter.
Right, fertility god, you know.
And certain orgies would be a part of the ritual.
Yeah.
Because those different customs and traditions aren't here directly, because that spirit is still behind it, where, you know what I'm saying, there's motherfuckers committing adultery after church. Motherfuckers went to Easter church, Easter Sunday, put their best on, and they committed adultery last night, all right, before, you know what I'm saying, in that spirit of the fucking fertility god, man.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
And same with the birthdays and all this other shit, because it seems all friendly and all that shit, man, you're gonna get judged. We here to tell you. You about to get judged for that shit.
And then they try to mask it. You had Constantine, in those multiple councils of Nicaea, which they started to merge in the pagan customs, and they tied it in with biblical dates.
Right.
So that's where you get Easter being Good Friday, and Easter being when our Lord died and when he rose again, which is bullshit. That's where you get December 25th. They say it's his birthday, and they try to incorporate and tie these things in with biblical accounts, man. And in the old, they have ungodly customs tied to them. You see? So just because you think, well, December 25th is Jesus' birthday, he didn't tell you. Where is that in the scriptures where the Lord, the Messiah, said celebrate his birthday?
Yeah.
You see? So those excuses that you people use, man, they're not going to be valid, man.
Yeah. He ain't winking at none of that ignorance anymore. It's the information era. We done exposed through the Spirit of the Lord. We done exposed all these wicked customs. Real quick, this is Acts 12:4. It says, and when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quatorians. It says, of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Now, I'm going to just read an NLT first. It says, then he imprisoned him, placing him under the guard of 4 squads of 4 soldiers each. Herod intended to bring Peter out for public trial after the Passover. So showing you, all right, that word Easter is talking about the Passover. It's not talking about, after these niggas is done looking for eggs, we're going to put Peter on trial. All right, and when you go into that word Easter, it's the Greek word Pascha, okay, which goes back to the Hebrew Pesach, speaking of the Passover, all right?
And you won't know that unless you go into words.
Exactly.
Why you got different guys saying that the English is not enough for them. No, you get further understanding of these things by going into words. Because if you don't go into the word, then you should be celebrating Easter today. Then,
Hey, and it's crazy because today being that day, a lot of people posting stuff and videos, and there was one video I seen shared where it was like in a bunch of different languages they were saying, "Oh, he is risen, right?" And then at the end, it's like, they were saying how do they say it? They don't say Pesach, they say Pascal or something like that. You know, it's like, yeah, this is pretty much Easter. You know, so there's certain people that know it's like, okay, the Passover is Easter, but according to their logic, if this were the correct time for the Passover, then the beginning of that Passover institutes what? The Feast of Unleavened Bread. And nobody's keeping the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And matter of fact, Northern Kingdom, they do it the fucking worst. Because they'll go to church and then they have something that's called a Saturday of Glory, you know, which really is bugged out because that's the day that the Lord died. But they're saying that it was, you know, giving glory to him for the sacrifice or whatever. And they just go get shit-faced. They, you know, commit all kinds of debauchery and adultery. And they drink nothing but fucking beer. And for whatever reason, they throw beer around and splash it. Like, bro, it's hella demonic, man.
Yeah.
You know?
It reminds me of the scripture that says how they ascribe the incommunicable name unto idols. You know, am I saying that right? Incommunicable
It's
names.
the same chapter that we reading, bro.
Oh yeah. Constantly.
Yeah, I got one real quick. This is Amos 5:21. It says, I despise your feast days, and I would not smell in your solemn assemblies. So the Lord is hating these holidays, these holidays that these people are celebrating. You thinking you serving the Lord and doing these things for the Lord, but the Lord is angry with those that celebrate these holidays, Easter and Thanksgiving, Christmas, all this shit, you know.
And we're declaring just like Paul said, that's Paul, right? He said, when they beheld your devotions,
Well, that was Amos, right?
Yeah.
it says, when it said to the unknown God, he said him.
All right, you talking about what you quoted.
Yeah.
I thought he was saying what you reading was Paul.
No. Yeah. Well, you know the scripture where it says, when I beheld your devotions, he says, and it said to the unknown God, he says, him do I declare unto you. All right. So now you have the real prophets, the true worshipers showing you, look, this shit is wicked. All right. This Easter shit ain't supposed to be there. We're declaring unto you the true living power, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. All right. Who you ignorantly, because what they say, who you ignorantly worship. You know, you're trying to worship, but hey, you're going about it all wrong. You really committing idolatry, man. And they subscribe that incommunicable name to pretty much idols, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
The Lord gave us holy days, you know, days that we should be acknowledging. But our people, hey, they go hard for these holidays that, you know, that's been set up, you know, these idols, these false idols. And so, hey, man, the Lord is angry, you know, and he's bringing judgment.
Yep, and even Jake that know, you know, because when you read that Amos, you know, he was talking about our actual high holy days he gave us, but Jake was keeping it. They were wicked and keeping those things. So the Lord, like, I ain't even looking at your Passover.
Yeah.
I'm not even looking at your Day of Atonement. I'm not even looking at your Feast of Tabernacles. And this is what we see with these guys today. That Passover, with bottle girl service. That Amos is an example of that, man. You know, but like Pops applied it to this society with these people worshiping Christmas and Easter and all that, man. The Lord ain't looking at none of that. You know? And there's going to be a judgment once again for all these things, man. We can jump back though.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 17. Whom men could not honor in presence because they dwelt far off. They took the counterfeit of his visage from far and made an express image of a king whom they honored. To the end that by this their forwardness they might flatter him that was absent, as if he were present.
Right, so he's talking about all these different ungodly customs and how they entered in. So you got an individual, he looking to honor the king, you know, but his ass on the other side of the kingdom.
Yeah.
So instead of like, man, I can't honor him in presence, man, I'm finna make a
Images,
figurine of him, and I'm finna worship that as if I'm in his presence, man. But that all goes back to man worship. Because he's looking to worship this king as a god, which a lot of those heathen ancient kings considered themselves such.
God,
You know, Pharaoh. Even Pharaoh, you know, that goes into, you know, god of or son of Ra or some shit or whatever bullshit. You know. But because they were worshiping those men, they made those idols, man. You know, in representation of those men that they couldn't honor in person. So King Solomon is letting us know how those different customs have came about. You know, and even today, Jake do it today, where they one of you brothers, I forgot who it was, but one of y'all was talking about LeBron James.
Posters.
You know, now you got posters. Now this nigga got a fucking Barbie.
Facts. Yeah.
No, this nigga got a Barbie now,
Kindle
bro.
action figure?
The Kindle.
You're like, no, he got a nigga. The Barbie doll is him. And they talking about how he the first dude to have
His own.
his own
figurine,
Barbie.
Yeah.
You know,
He got no
They
hairline.
calling it a Barbie though.
the Barbie, whoever made Barbie made that.
Right.
So
Barbie the
it's
label.
a
Barbie.
Barbie doll, but it's
Right.
him.
Damn, that's why
Feel
we
like Barbie
like
is
that.
a brand,
Yeah.
and they usually only make the.
Damn. Females.
Females.
All that, and then they'll have these high up people. They'll be
Bruh,
they'll have them
they
do some
on
weird
shit
stuff,
today.
and then that'll influence people to do that weird stuff along with these people that they're idolizing.
Right. Well, it's going right here, so just you know, somebody keep it low volume, and just you know, make sure it's still going.
Coming back to Wisdom of Solomon.
Yes, sir.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 14.
But that's in today's time. In today's time, you got what the fuck they call that, bro? Jake used to keep them when they was little.
Figurines.
Yeah, like,
Action figures.
The rookie card.
Yeah, baseball.
Michael Jordan's rookie card, baseball card, right, man? You know, those are modern day that now they keep them in.
Right.
Oh my God, I had to get this card.
Yeah.
This card is most,
Man.
you know. But that's in the ancient world, they were actual figurines. Today, it's posters, it's cards, you know. And it's nothing new under the sun, man.
Yeah, even action figures.
Action figures, yep.
Because you had what was that? You had Rachel and Leah. I believe that was Rachel that had her father's idols hidden underneath the. Because he was mad. He was like, "Where's my idols at?" And she was acting like, you know, she was on her rag. You know what I'm saying? But she had all those. Pretty much, you could picture it probably woody. They would probably carve wooden motherfuckers. You know, because the scriptures talk about how he holds the bow, he hold the axe, and he can't do nothing. So the motherfuckers probably was, you know, posing and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, all his little action figures and shit. You know, same thing, man. You know?
Well, we had the He-Mans and
Yeah.
the Lion-O's and
Yeah,
all
bro.
that stuff.
Wooed off that shit. Oh
Yeah.
my god, Ninja Turtles. When Ninja Turtles came out,
Yep. Well, now Jake's been
Shit.
idolized the fringes.
Damn.
You know, that's what it is to these Jakes now.
Damn.
You had a particular in the book of Judges. I think I forgot who what particular tribe dude was, but he had hired that Levite man to be a priest in his house,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
and then those Danites came.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, they took
and it was like, well, you gonna be a priest to one man, or you gonna be a priest to a whole tribe? Like, it showed you what they was. They had an ephod that they was worshiping.
yeah.
So they'll take something that's right and pervert it. So just like these dudes, man, they'll take the fringes, and now the fringes is like a god that they worship now, man. You know?
because they even think, man. That, well, I remember it was a couple years back. The cat from AK is like, bro, if you ain't got your fringes on when the Lord come, then you ain't getting delivered. You know. So that's how they like a lot of them cats. They literally think if your fringes ain't on when the Lord return, your ass is not, you know.
Yeah, that's what this
delivered.
new fruit soft ass nigga saying.
He said that shit. Ariella.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
What
Yep.
a clown.
Yep. How easy it is to put fringes on your t-shirts. Like, we need fringes and some shit he was saying. And it's like, bro,
He bugged out.
Niggas a fruitcake. Where it say t-shirt in the Bible, man? If you gonna do it the right way. Wear your garment.
long garments
Yeah,
on, man.
how hard is it for that? You're talking about fringes on a t-shirt. We didn't wear t-shirts back then. T-shirt is an undergarment. The Apostle Gabar goes into that history. It says that the priests wore long garments down to the feet when they was in the temple. It said Yahweh Shai's garment was down to his feet. So you niggas do something. You niggas find you could put fringes on a t-shirt so you can mix it in. You know what I'm saying? With this world, you could wear your t-shirt and still blend in. You just got a couple fringes on the bottom of your t-shirt. Go the whole way through then.
A
if
whole
you go
mixed
through.
fabric shirt you got
Right.
on. Talking about you keep the law perfectly.
Clowns.
You know, one nigga showed up, Joe. This was back before I moved out here. We was in Chicago. One nigga showed up to the line. He had a Bulls jersey on with the fringes on it.
Yeah. That was what's
Look, like for real, bro. The nigga put fringes on the Bulls jersey, bro.
Bullshit.
That's some bullshit.
That shit was bugged. That shit was bugged out.
What the scripture says, learn not the ways of the heathen too. You know what I'm saying? And that T-shirt. So you putting the fringes on a heathen ass garment.
Well, it's an undergarment. We had undergarments back then, so it
Yeah.
ain't just heathenistic.
Yeah.
The point being is that it's supposed to be a long garment.
Right.
You don't put fringes on an undergarment.
Yeah.
You know, so a T-shirt is not heathenistic. It's an undergarment.
Come back you up real quick.
Go ahead.
This is second. So this is First Ezra 1 and 1. And Josiah held the feast of the Passover in Jerusalem unto his Lord, and offered the Passover the 14th day of the first month, having set the priests according to their daily courses, being arrayed in long garments in the temple of the Lord. Showing you that's our custom, having
Yeah.
the long priestly garments. You know what I'm saying? Not a short ass fucking, medium ass shirt, man, with a fucking, that's not our custom. So,
Let's go ahead.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 18. Also, the singular diligence of the artificer did help to set forward the ignorance to more superstition. For he, peradventure, willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion.
Mm-hmm. So you got a guy that's highly skilled, you know. So he makes this idol. You can see the impression. His idol this damn big, but you can see the
details,
impression on the
boy.
face and just showing you how skillful he is at his job. But look what he did. Look what he did to set forth, the superstition, like the scripture says.
Yeah, that actually reminds me of I've been speaking about it a lot. That poem, Paradise Lost. Which goes into hell and Satan and his being upset.
Cunningly devised fables.
Right, like he put a lot of effort and skill. Here it is. He wrote this whole poem and to be poetic and get people to like it and everything like that. But it pushed forth this whole ungodly custom to where even Christians today still believe in that hell madness based off of the traditions that was passed by. That was another ungodly custom that grew strength. Back then they knew that was a bunch of bullshit that was mixed in with this and that and the third. But once again it got strength over time, man.
You see that today with different movies and stuff, that so-called biblical, and they'll apply certain attributes to that movie, to the scriptures, when that's not what it is.
Yeah, and if you don't have a actual understanding and really know the Bible, and you watch certain movies, you would think and believe and continue. That's what happened, and continuing on with it. Like we could watch certain movies and chew the meat and spit out the bones. Like, oh yeah, they went off here, they went off there.
The fallen angels helped Noah build the ark.
It's crazy.
That's what it shows you in that movie. Those rock figures,
Yeah.
they represented. They were supposed to be the fallen angels.
And then what's
people continue to follow all that madness, man. So it's like just like in today's time, like the brother brought up a beautiful example. You watch a movie and everything like that, and if you ain't got no base knowledge of it, you'll continue to follow on, believe in it. Like hey, if it was 100 years down the line and they showing you movies of Michael Jordan, and this nigga he looked like fucking
Bob Ross.
Well, it's the House of David.
Chestnut.
I don't know if brothers
Yeah.
watched, the House of David, but they had David being a bastard. They had David being a bastard. His mom got mauled by a lion trying to save him. Like if you ain't familiar with, if you're not familiar, and you will be like, oh my God, like
Right.
that's.
Then
It's
it's
like
just
nah,
up
that
there.
ain't that's not scriptural.
Right.
That's not what's written.
Right. By bastard, you mean his Jesse wasn't in it, or
Jesse was there, but like he
wasn't fucking with him?
he was a son of his outside marriage.
Oh,
Yeah, so they
Like,
shunned him.
yeah. The fuck?
The rest of the brothers shunned him because because they didn't have his mama was different than their. You know what I'm saying?
Add that drama and all that shit in there. Like,
So that's why he was out in the field, and that's why he wasn't there,
Right.
and they add all these things.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with the Christian church and a lot of these different things they follow. It's like it's certain things that's been added in, just passed down over time, and they just continue on with the lies. Like even an example, it's like, look, like here it is. They got Jesus, so-called Jesus, looking at like a white guy, right? You can clearly read in Revelation his description, but that was pushed so heavily and enforced and everything like that to where people just like, all right, well, that's what it is. Until the true men of the Lord came up and they started hammering, through the spirit,
Right.
like, nah.
Now
he's a
people are
so-called-
starting to.
Yeah, now it's like you gotta.
Well, he's Middle Eastern.
Like he's
Nah,
niggas
you
used to
good.
get away with saying
It's
he's
colored on
olive.
island now.
Olive.
Niggas used to get away with saying he had no color and just like what? But now it's like the truth is coming out. It says the truth that has been so long without fruit shall be declared, and is breaking down these strongholds, and these different things that have been passed down, these different customs that have all been rooted in idolatry that's being cleaned up through the spirit.
And that's funny, the spiritual, because that description is shown in what? The book of Revelations. And it's the first chapter. So revealing that, you know what I'm saying? And the scripture says that every spirit that confess not that the Lord came in the flesh is the spirit of the Antichrist, man. Showing you that this world is majority just Antichrist, man.
It got me thinking about the Book of Clarence. Me and this brother was watching it last night, and the nigga woman, she took Esau. He was just a dirty ass bum. They took him and cleaned his ass up, and after they cleaned him up, he looks like God. He's so clean and white,
Innocent and pure.
innocent and pure.
Yeah,
He
bro.
can't do no wrong. And it's the nigga woman that that really pushed that shit, because she pushed it upon the children.
Well, they showed you that in good times.
Good times, that's it.
Not my
Not
Jesus.
Jesus. And that's real life, that's real life. You come out the womb and she's the main one forcing the whole family to go to church, man, to worship this fucking.
Or go to Easter.
Exactly.
Easter.
Oh yeah, she's fucking.
She gonna make sure, like, it don't matter if her kids they don't listen. You gonna be here on Easter. Like that's pushed heavy.
Put some money on them new clothes and fucking shiny ass clothes.
Yeah. And it's the spirit of woman worship behind that, showing you, because Esau made the woman the head of the household. That's why you see a lot of men, they're fleeing the Christian church, man, because they're realizing, like, look, this is just shit is just about me being a bitch to this woman, bro.
Yeah.
Like, hey, as soon as you get out of pocket, they got is counseling and shit. You gotta fucking come to the pastor who's trying to smash your wife, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I've been there. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I've been through all that fucking shit. Or fucking try to counsel me and my wife and shit, and ex-wife and shit. Nigga.
That's great.
Yeah. I've been through all that fucking shit. My daughter tells me, like, yeah, he liked it. He liked it, mom. Like, yeah, I know he liked it, mom. Nigga, that's what he was on. Nigga, like, talking, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole fucking, and it's just all, it's all goes back to idolatry, like the brothers is going into, man. But they use the Bible as a veneer, man. Christians don't know. Elder Malcolm said it all the time, man. You don't know the Bible, you know church, nigga.
Yeah, that's true.
So even this whole world, you said a lot of dudes, fleeing Christianity, to escape the woman worship. It really is like, for instance, I look at it as like the manosphere. You got a lot of these niggas like, no, we ain't dealing with the woman. Look at yourself and better yourself first, but it's all bettering yourself just to get a woman.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like they claim to be trying to escape from her power or her influence, and really you're doing all that just to get her.
Yeah.
So it really goes all the way back. It's no escape from these things.
It is. No,
This is the only
way
escape.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the only escape, because then you hear allegations or there's allegations to these dudes, and
Yeah, the same ones that
the
be on
same
the pod
dudes that's
and-
telling you discipline and don't do this and no, don't allow that and who up the bam, and then allegations is coming out that, nigga, you did this to this OnlyFans girl.
Nigga, you sipping.
You sipping like a motherfucker. Nigga, what you doing?
Yeah.
So these dudes to say these different things, but really, really deep down, they're still ingrained in that, man. So really, this is the only escape out of that.
That's the only way.
It's
like I'm thinking about that movie. I think it was Inception, or even like a Freddy Krueger movie. Motherfucker think they out of the nightmare and shit, but nigga, you still in the dream, nigga. Like You know, you start getting little hints and shit. Fucking spider crawl across somebody's face and shit. Blood get to dripping out of, you know, the Freddy Krueger movies and shit. They be thinking they out of the dream, but no, you still in the, you just in a deeper, you're in a dream within a dream. So like the brother said, man, this is the only way to wake up, man. Yahweh Shemi Shai has to wake you up into this truth. Otherwise, you're just still in the gumbo, man. You're still in the nightmare, man. It's just, you know, you know.
All right, let's go.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 19. For he, peradventure, willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion. And so the multitude, lured by the grace of the work, took him now for a god, which a little before was but honored. And this
Slow down, read that again.
Khan, it says, and so the multitude, lured by the grace of the work, took him now for a god, which a little before was but honored. And
Your app ain't got that. Brother Jake need to read it out of the scriptures.
no,
It says, but honored as a man. So it's just showing you this mortal man. You know, this dude made an image of him, and now people are worshiping this image of this mortal man as if it's a god. You know? And it's the same thing we see once again within this society, man. Whatever you yield your members to, that's what you making your God. You're setting up your idol in your heart. You know, so you got people that does things for their woman, or it's for the children, or it's for the job. I just got to get this bag, and you know, whatever energy and effort that you putting into, that's what you're setting up as your idol. That's what you're worshiping. So that's why I'm glad the brother put that in, on the comment board. The brother GMS Tazadakda, Bayan Yahawada, he had put that Matthew the 6th chapter where it says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, and all these things shall be added unto us," man. You know, so our energy and effort should be what? In serving Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. And the Lord is going to provide all those extra things. You know, he gives us the work that allows us to put food on our table, a roof over our head. The Lord provides all those things, man. And we have to be mindful of that, have that in the forefront of our mind, so that we're on defense against all these different wicked, weird vibrations that's out here. You know? Go ahead.
Verse 21, it says, and this was an occasion to this for men serving either calamity or tyranny did
So
ascribe.
it's showing you that those wicked kings, nigga, here it is, he make an idol of his son that's dead and force his whole kingdom to, that's tyranny. You see?
Boy, that
Or
was-
you forcing the people to make you, I'm a god. Everybody know you a man, but you like, I'm a god, and anybody question it, I'ma kill you. That's tyranny, man.
That was Christianity.
Well, that's yeah, they made you, you know.
They forced that shit on Jake.
So that's why it says serving either calamity or tyranny. You see? Go ahead. And that's how Christianity, like you said, that's how plantation Christianity was pushed on our people. All 12 tribes, man. You know? That so-called religion, man, that was put on us by the force of the sword. So we were serving a tyrant, you know? Calamity and tyranny is what put that on us, man. But go ahead.
Now you got people that refuse to let it go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Christianity is a terrible drug, man. You know, and you can see these people still foolishly thinking they serving the Lord when they're not, man. It's crazy. But you got it though.
Did ascribe unto stones and stocks.
Read that whole thing again.
Kind of says, and this was an occasion to deceive the world, for men serving either calamity.
Now it's talking about what particular governance or rulership that particular king had over. But now we're dealing with what? Esau, Edom, and how the earth has been given into his hands. So through calamity and tyranny, what has he put over the whole earth, man? Deceit. You know? It says this was an occasion to deceive the world. And it says what? He shall be loosed a little season to deceive the world. And how did he do that? It started with his Renaissance. It started with his iconoclasm. It started with him painting over all those images, man. And then what did he do? He ingrained the society in idolatry. Like we was talking about, you know, before the 3-4 times we got cut off. But look at the car makers, man. Look at the music industries. Look at the clothing brands. Look at the radio, the franchise. Yeah, the radio franchise, the TV franchises, the restaurant franchises, man. Look at what you got. Starbucks.
Yeah.
Jake know what that symbol is on Starbucks, man.
The witch and the Carters.
You know, it goes back to Semiramis. I believe it's actually Libertus,
Yeah, the
which is the Greek god of liberty. But all that goes back. It all goes back to Semiramis. It all goes back to Ishtar. That's what it all goes back to, man. You see, how many people wake up and get their Starbucks every morning,
Need it.
right? But those things have a vibration, man. Not saying that you wicked if you
Right.
drink. I ain't saying that, you know. But what I'm saying is how this society is steeped.
Yeah.
It has been ingrained and entrenched in idolatry, man, in every aspect of this society. And this is how we guard ourselves against that, is through the knowledge. Going back to that first Samuel, it says our God, Yahweh Basham Yahushua, is a God of knowledge. And this is what we have as a defense. So we're not ignorant of these things, man. So we know how to operate in a state of blamelessness, man. You see? That's why these particular lessons, man, starting with our apostles on down, us hitting the highways and hedges, man, these electronic epistles, you know, it's important, man, because it allows us to be equipped with the defenses that we need against this place. Because this place, man, like it says in Sirach, man, is pitfalls and traps, it's snares everywhere, man.
Yeah.
You know, so we gotta be on our guard 24/7 against these. What it says, we war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. You know, against powers. You know,
Spiritual wickedness.
in high places, man. So when we actually come to that realization and we understand that, then we can be on alert when it comes to these different things. You know, but you got it back.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 21. And this was an occasion to deceive the world. For men, serving neither calamity or tyranny, did ascribe unto stones and stocks the incommunicable name.
Right, the incommunicable name. You can't put the name of the Most High on an idol. You can't put the name of the Most High on something else, man. You know, so they calling delivered you. And you had Jake putting the name of Yahweh on idols, man.
Moreover, it was not for them.
The Lord said, I will pray to another. You know, see, the Lord show forth himself that what, man, they like all this shit that's been called God, that's been called a power, he gonna show that that ain't it. You know?
Oh, good. It says, moreover, this was not enough for them that they heard in the knowledge of Yahweh. But whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance,
And this is what we're living in.
great war of ignorance.
Of being willingly ignorant, because now
Yeah.
we're in the information
That's
age.
true. That's
In the
true.
book of Daniel, it says what? That knowledge shall increase. So these things are common knowledge. You know how many TikTok videos and Instagram clips
Niggas.
and niggas pointing up, doing all this shit, man? You see, look where the origins of this. You know? So now these people ain't got no excuse. So now it's the great war of being willingly ignorant, man.
Right.
Stupid.
A lot of people call them dark truths. You know what I'm saying? Dark truths over like the dark, origin of different things come from. You know, there's a lot of people going into that, man. And the most important ones are the prophets. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where they get it from, bro. They try to do their own shit. Come on, bro. The prophets, bro. That's where you got it from, bro.
Yeah.
It says, Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 22 again. It says, moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of the Most High. But whereas they live in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues caused they peace.
They called it, so it became comfortable.
Ignorance is
The
bliss.
calamities, the tyranny, the hell that they catch, and it became comfortable, man. Even like here in this society, look, our people, you know, like one of y'all brothers just said it, but now we know how our people started to become Christians. You know, the modern day Christians, by the way, because we're the original followers of the anointed, man. You know, but this plantation Christianity, you know, the anti-Christians, right? How did our people become that? It was by the force of the sword. Now you can't tell our people otherwise. You know, the so great plagues called a peace. You know, see, they think this cool being here under our people. Jake,
Normal.
particular Jakes in the South be found lynched. You know, and then the news or the police department will write it off as suicide. No type of investigation being done, they just write it off as suicide. And you got the family members like, bro, he didn't kill himself, bro. Like, we know he didn't kill himself. You know, so there's lynching still going on here in America by the hands of Esau Edom. But once again, Jake is comfortable here in this society, so these things that's taking place, they peaceful here, man. You know? It's really a sad case Jake in. But you got it.
For which they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies.
They called all that peace, bro. In order for peace to be here, like when you watch those period pieces, they'll sacrifice their child or their son, or and then they'll be like, well, this is how it gotta be. Have us to have a good crop. Or this is how, you know, the wrath and you know, so they'll do those particular things, man.
Win a war.
You know?
win the war.
Yeah, in order to win a war, they'll sacrifice, you know?
Oh, that even happened in I think it's in Kings when I think it was the Moabite or the Ammonite.
The firstborn.
Yeah, he sacrificed his firstborn. Or even they showed you a pretty vivid scene in that show Game of Thrones. You know, they had to put his daughter through the fire.
Stannis Baratheon.
Yeah, you know, but they show you those different things, and it's like, bro, you just burned your child alive
For nothing, and they
for
lost that
nothing,
war.
bro. And now,
Stupid.
And you see that bitch that told him to do it, she got the fuck out of there.
Yeah, she fled.
But that's how it's gonna be with these false prophets. I wasn't a prophet.
Right.
I was a gatherer of sycamore fruit. You know.
Look at what you had to do to look at all these entertainers. Look at what you had to do to get your fame, your money, and everything like that, man. You know, the things that you had to participate and so on and so
Just to
forth,
be
man.
broke.
Right.
At the end of it all,
Right,
just to
just
get all that shit taken away from you. The cars is getting repoed, nigga. You getting evicted out that mansion.
Right.
The bitches don't want you no more. The
And you ain't
bitches
got
is
no
on to the next
dignity.
nigga that sold his soul. You know what I'm saying? You can't you can't even shit right because you didn't been bent over so many
Well,
goddamn
really, you
times.
can't hold your bowels.
Right.
So now you gotta walk around with a pamper.
Damn.
It's a shame to speak of these things, man, but this is what's going on, man.
Yeah,
But
that's
people
the
do
reality.
it. People
That's the
choose
reality of
to-
idolatry.
People choose to do that.
Fuck.
And idolatry.
Gotta-
And even individuals like, because that Romans 1 says that the Most High have given them over to vile affections. So you got regular Jakes that's out here that's gay, and they not even being gay to be rich.
Yeah.
They not being gay
You just
to
gay.
get the
So
wealth. They
naked
just
somewhere.
gay
Right.
How you gay?
Well,
because the Lord gave them over to that because of idolatry, man. It all stems back to idolatry, you know.
that's why you see so many niggas with bonnets now. Like, what the fuck does that come from, bro?
I mean,
The
it's
whole
about-
nigga woman, like, cause that was a whole nigga woman thing. You see nigga woman with the bonnet looking like the fucking nigga from Mario and shit.
Told.
yeah, you know. And now you see niggas. You think you standing there. You see the bonnet. You think it's a nigga woman there, but it's a whole fucking nigga, man.
You see it.
Fucking YN with dreads coming out the bottom of a fucking. This shit is fucking wicked, man. Yeah.
You seeing young Edomite males wearing bonnets and shit. Like that culture is just.
It's the nigga woman spirit that's on these people, man. That nigga woman spirit, that sexy
Well,
red
it
spirit,
really
bro.
just goes back to an idol.
Yeah.
It really is a heathenistic spirit.
Yeah.
Because when you read about it, the nigga woman spirit goes back to Jezebel. See, there's a reason why those old nigga women in the churches, they always call on you Jezebel. When you running around with that Jezebel. And even in Revelation, it was a particular woman that was amongst the church. The Lord said that you caused Jezebel to stay. So that shows you this is spirit. And when you go back into the actual woman Jezebel, she was a Canaanite. It was a dirty Hamite bitch that had rough ass feet and hands that dogs wouldn't even eat. But the point being, look at the spirit. She was ruling over Ahab. Like when you read read that, bro. That's
She was
the
ruling.
nigga woman spirit, which comes from a heathen.
Bitch
Which
was
that
ruling.
heathen woman was raised what in that Canaanite god, man.
Right. Exactly.
You see?
Exactly.
So the spirit the nigga woman is in is a heathenistic, idolatrous spirit, bro.
Canaanite, you ain't supposed to deal with them hoes.
Exactly, man.
Yeah,
So
that's
really,
why.
hey, all y'all brothers. All y'all brothers that's dealing with that nigga woman. She the modern day Canaanite. Your ass going, oh.
Surprise. Murph gonna reply, boy.
No, that's heavy though. I mean, that's true. Well, you know,
Yeah.
that's what it is though, man. That's what it is. You know, it's that idolatrous, you know, those spirit, man. You know?
She's the main conduit for that motherfucker right now. She's the medium for that motherfucker right now. That's why they put, and they show you that all these women, they have a small hat behind them. Like they were literally showing you Ice Spice, Sexy Red.
Just to add up to you just real quick, because the children that came out of that union of Ahab and Jezebel would be Israelites, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if brothers know this, but Athaliah,
Yeah.
where she proclaimed herself queen, that was a daughter of Ahab and Jezebel. So that's why she had that particular spirit on her to kill all the rest of the seed, so she can be queen, and she could, because she was raised under that vibration of Jezebel being her mother and Ahab being her father. So Athaliah was an actual Israelite woman, but look at the spirit she was on, man.
Yeah.
You see? You know, I just wanted to add to that because you was mentioning Sexy Red and all, you know.
Yeah, so yeah, she's the number one conduit for that. And it all goes back to Eve. You know, Eve is.
It all goes back to the serpent.
Oh yeah, it goes back to the serpent. Yeah,
That's really what it goes back to. It goes back to the serpent because once this nigga get taken out of rulership, she gonna be back in her right mind, man.
Right.
You know?
That Gardenian pact is gonna get this. Well, it says your agreement with death is gonna be disannulled, man. You know.
Come back in Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 23. For which they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled.
Why? Because those rituals had them do that.
Swinging.
So as they were doing that in those rituals, now it started to become you couldn't fight off that spirit now.
Couldn't go back.
Because you sleeping with a whole nother man's woman in a ritual, now you ain't even in the ritual no more. Now your spirit yearning or burning for her, and now it's not even a ritual no more.
Because of that.
So you see how it just, I hope I make sense and how I'm trying to show how it correlates, man.
It's an influence.
So now they ain't even in the ritual. Now my man's getting it busting down the whole nother man's woman regularly. It's not for no ritual. It's not in service of this God. Now it's just happening because nigga he can't bridle himself now. You know, but it just shows that spirit that it puts out there, man. You know.
Gateway drug.
But
Now
either
you got this dude for his God. He was required to sleep with this male prostitute. You know, because you had that in the ancient world. That's really when you read and the scripture says that there shall be no whore, Israel, you know, or no sodomite of the sons. When you go into that, it goes into temple prostitution, man. It's talking about you being a goddamn sex slave for Molech, you know, or whatever fucking, or for Jesus, you know. You got whores out here for Jesus.
Church war.
yeah,
Real talk.
yeah.
You know, and then when you look at these so-called celebrities, like even when Jake said Sexy Red, when you look at Beyonce, Rihanna, Cher, the bitch with her hips don't lie, Northern Kingdom, Shakira. When you look at these bitches now, these bitches are exalted and everybody look at them and like, oh, they the standard of beauty and we gotta be like them. But really, these hoes are temple prostitutes.
Rihanna.
Yeah, but bro, Esau, these elite of Esau, bro, they be having them hoes in a circle, having them do weird shit with donkeys and like they be doing that weird shit, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and then they'll put them on TV and everybody look at it like, oh my God, look how beautiful she is. But really, bro, this bitch is a temple whore.
She just had sex with a donkey. Like, what the fuck?
She just sucked off a donkey to get in that commercial, man.
That shit fuck.
Yeah, they showed you that in
Or all these Edomite weirdo men had to
Had their way.
loose themselves on her, man.
So
This is
that's
a sick ass society we live in, man. Salaki.
No, I was thinking about that movie, Eyes Wide Shut, where they showed you that ritual. You know how they had the priesthood on the left hand. They showed you the left hand side of the priesthood to a degree in there, man, and the orgies that they partake in. You know, they showed you that all these different higher ups, they had masks on and everything like that, and it was a whole big sexual
Yeah,
ritual,
they
man.
popping women, they popping dudes.
Yep.
You know, and because they in that ritual popping a dude, now when he ain't even in the ritual no more, he still desire a dude though. It just show you that spirit, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And they do that, and then they get put out in the forefront and pushing out that vibration on the rest of the masses, man. And now they under that influence, you know?
And then when you speak this, people be like, nah, this is really going on, man. They really sacrificing babies, bro, and drinking baby blood. You know what I'm saying? Like they eating the meat. The babies taste the best.
Yeah, when
Like these are fucking weirdos, bro. Like this is real, man.
Yeah,
But as we read here, you know,
it showed you that in well, actually, I was thinking about P. Diddy's ex-wife that had died. She talked about how when she was pregnant, she had told P. Diddy about it and everything like that, and how he was so excited. And then he was like, man, this person ain't going, this person isn't going to be able to, or can't wait to sleep with you and this. And then she was caught off guard, like, wait, what do you mean? Like, she's like, baby, you like all this stuff that we got, right? The comfort that you live in? Well, for us to continue to have this, like, that was a part of the ritual. Like, she was pregnant and she had to wait till she was so many months pregnant and then go through an orgy, man. And she talked about it in the book, and she did it for her first son, and she did it with the second son that she had with that dude.
and you see it said without exception, man. So that's the majority that was taking place.
Did it again.
It did it again.
Yeah, it did it again.
It's
It's
buffing,
looping.
like you can hear yourself a little bit, but it's skipping.
I mean, as long as it's going,
It's
cause they'll,
going.
Yeah, it's
It'll
back
come
on
back.
now.
Yeah, as long as it's going.
Yeah.
And like I said, just brothers, make sure you off the Wi-Fi too. You know.
It just stopped and got back on. So go ahead.
Khan of Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 25, so that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury, disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns.
Yeah, just this immoral behavior, man, just started to run rampant, man. And it says without exception.
Without
when
exception, blood.
You know, when I think about that, I think about Hosea 4. You know, where the Lord said he had a controversy with the land because there's no knowledge, nor judgment in the land. You know, it says blood touches blood. They break out, blood touches blood. Adultery is committed. You know, roughly paraphrasing, you know, that Hosea the 4th chapter. And we can see that in America running rampant, man.
It's built on blood.
You see? And idolatry is the result of it.
Yes, sir.
You know, so that's why looking at today as something light, no, it's just for the kids and just a little Easter egg hunt. No, look at what all look at what stems from that, man. You see? So that's why, man, you know, you don't take these things lightly, man. You know, there's a judgment coming for all these things, right? Go ahead.
Khan, it says forgetfulness of good turns, defiling of souls, changing of kind, disorder in marriages.
The woman over the man, changing of kind. Now this nigga, you know, now John thinks he's Jenny.
Yeah, Bruce thinks he's
Gender.
I see somebody
Julio
earlier today, he had a
Fulioso.
shirt that said doggy or puppy in training. You know, he had fucking ears on and shit.
These
Crazy
niggas,
shit, bro.
yeah, bro, they got a whole, oh my God, they got a whole society, these motherfuckers, man. They get together and do this shit, put fucking the leather fucking wolf face on and shit, get led through the fucking.
Anyway, let's read.
Yeah, so
I
like,
don't want to
bro.
hear about that shit, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdo shit that's going on.
Man,
It says adultery
Water.
and shameless uncleanliness.
Mm-hmm.
For the worship of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil.
You see? So these ungodly customs, man, Easter, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving. These are ungodly customs, man. And look what all this wicked vibration of idolatry is put, and not just those so-called holy days, man. You know, these wicked ass holidays that they set aside. But once again, this society as a whole, as we read in Jeremiah earlier, you know, these people are mad upon their idols. See, all this got to go, man. You know, we talked about how this place has been ingrained in idolatry. You know, from the clothes that we wear, man, to the food that's being put, the restaurants, the channels that we watch, the music that's being put out. This nigga Drake got OVO music.
Right.
Right?
The fucking owl.
Molech.
It's an owl, bro. What is that? That's Molech, man. You see? Niggas look at it like, oh, that's a cool symbol.
Right.
And now they rocking the owl around. I'm OVO. I'm
I
Drake.
don't know what the fuck is going on.
And you know, like, bro, that shit is steeped in idolatry, man. And it comes with vibrations and rituals and weird shit that comes attached to that, man.
Yeah, now niggas that listen to Drake painting their nails and shit.
And it's like, bro, that's why Micah 2:10 tells us, man, rise and depart, because this is not our rest. This is why we really gotta lock in to the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. Look at these other groups. These dudes are still in the world, man. They not separating from this society, man.
Love it.
This is why they still seeped in idolatry, which is why their weird fetishes, you know, is being brought to the light.
Hell
Now we
yeah.
see what these niggas is doing behind closed doors, man.
Dark twisted fantasies.
You know? These guys, man, they got fringes on and beards on their face, but they still serving idols.
Delirious shit.
You know? They not serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, man. So that's just why the spirit is on the apostles on down, you know, to constantly speak on these things, man, to touch on these topics. But keep going, brother.
Kindness of Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 28. For either they are mad when they be merry.
Yep. For they are mad when they be merry. when a particular city wins a championship, what happens, man? These niggas so elated and happy
They go crazy.
that they,
Destroy
bro,
the city.
now all of a sudden you destroying your city, man.
Yeah, niggas did that when the Bulls won in the 90s or whatever, yeah, 80s, 90s.
It was the 90s.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was tearing up the stores that they go to every day. And you know what I'm saying? The next day is just a mess.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Super Bowl with the Phillies this year.
Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't the Dodgers win the baseball?
Dodgers.
Yep.
You know?
LA.
It was tearing up LA.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, in Philly they tore the stoplights out of the ground and shit.
What
And that's
the
every
fuck?
year, bro. Like that's every year. Well, no matter what sport it is, where whoever wins it, bro, this is a reoccurring thing. Like,
Destroy the city.
yeah.
Destroy.
But that shows you the spirit of idolatry, though, and we're reading it right out of the scriptures.
I'm so proud of our city. Let's destroy it.
Fanatics.
It's wild. Go ahead and read that again, Op.
For either they are mad when they be merry, or prophesy lies.
Or prophesy lies. This is why you got guys making shit up. Gog and Magog is gonna rise up in the kingdom. You know, we gonna be in the kingdom, bro. Gold streets, chariots as a defense on every
This
house.
is what we've been waiting for.
You know,
That's what we've
This
been
was
waiting
made
for.
out of a
no,
cave.
didn't the Lord say affliction shall not rise a second time? Like, you know, you gotta erase all these different precepts just to add in what these niggas saying, man.
Israel shall dwell in safety.
But it just shows you they prophesy lies. There ain't gonna be no Jacob's trouble. Oh, I had
Come on,
to
bro.
backtrack on that.
If you listen closely, moron.
The MOTB is embargo, and
White.
you know,
The black cop.
666 men that rule the world, sleeping with white women,
That shit wild.
sin in all its forms. Now you see these dudes back. Now they might throw a C-hip in there. Oh, now it's physical. It's charakma, correcting this man's. But the Holy Spirit, the understanding of these scriptures, have been showing us that these dudes ain't got it. They're still steeped in idolatry, man. You know? There's a whole bunch of men worship there, man. They making flesh they arm. All that is idolatry, man. And the Lord is showing us that clear separation and how to walk in a way that's pleasing unto Him.
They made Nate an idol, you know.
Yeah.
What's the name? Had his own fucking action figure. The nigga Comfy. He ended up
Oh, my
having his
goodness.
own fucking little figurine.
That's wild.
I think they had a truck with his face on there or some shit. Like
Yeah,
that.
he had a tour bus.
Tour bus.
A tour
Right.
bus.
Now I seen that. I seen that.
He had a tour bus, and the action figure didn't even. They fucked his action figure up, man. That nigga looked like a Puerto Rican, man, light skinned.
Well, a lot of they do that a lot of times. I don't know if y'all seen recently that the Miami put a statue of Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, they fucked his
Bro, they unveiled that motherfucker. He was looking like, man. And I know he hurt inside. Like, bro, look what they did to your statue, bro.
You can keep this shit. It made him look like
Yeah, bro. Like, nigga, that's who is that? Who is that?
Bro, they been cooking.
But then when you look at the other statues, like of Edomites, and bro, them motherfuckers be pristine.
Right.
they be looking.
You know?
Is that nigga first time making a statue?
Yeah. Hey, he was hurt when you watched that ceremony.
Yeah.
Bro, he was hurt, bro.
Bro, they was cooking his ass so bad about that statue.
And it's like, bro, like, you know, that you got it out.
It says it says for either they are mad when they be merry, or prophesy lies, or live unjustly.
Or live unjustly, you see? And this is why we have to have a conscience toward the Most High, man. You see? Because if we put anything outside of the Lord first, man, it starts to cause Jake to what? Live unjustly. So this is why the Lord has to be in the forefront of our lives, man. You know? Go ahead.
It says like
It says in
that's
all that
bugged
ways
out.
acknowledge him and
He
he
would
will
direct
direct
our
your way.
paths, yeah. I was thinking of Deuteronomy. When I said that, I was thinking of Deuteronomy. You know, Shema Yashala, Yahweh, 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 Echad, which is Deuteronomy 6:4. You know, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. When you continue to read down, it says, and these words shall be in thy heart. You know, when you continue to read, it says, you shall love Yahweh with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy mind. And then it says, you shall talk about the commandments when thou walkest by the way,
Yeah, right.
when thou liest down, when thou risest up, thou shalt teach them diligently to thy children. I'm roughly paraphrasing that, man. But that was saying that we have to think about this all the time. That's really what it's saying.
Have it in our hearts.
You know? Meaning that this word has to govern our lives in every aspect. When we going about our lives, man, precepts, we live our life according to this guidebook.
Wisdom meet us in every thought.
Yeah, man. Look at our lives as a journey, right? Our lives is a journey. And we're headed to a particular place. And you don't know where that place is. So you gotta listen to the instructions that's being given. Turn right, turn left,
Stop here.
stop here. You know, like you gotta listen to those instructions, man.
GPS.
It's the GPS. You know, so what we're learning, man, is how to guide us to where we're going. And we have to make sure that we're attentive to those instructions that we're being given in order to get to where we're going. You know? So just like when you're traveling, you're looking at that map to make sure you're on the right road, or you constantly looking at the GPS on whether it's in your car or whether it's on your phone, make sure that, man, okay, I'm on the right road, okay. It says make a left in what? 3 miles? Okay. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to the spirit. You know, how we live our lives, man, is according to the instructions that's given us.
And you can't never put it to the side and think you know where you're going, cause then you end up getting lost. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we gotta keep this open book. You know what I'm saying? Keep it applying these scriptures. You know.
Yeah. You know, I forgot how it's worded in NLT in Philippians 3, but man, we gotta maintain our progression. You know, I forgot how it's worded, but whatever progress we made, man, let's save that progress. You know, like a video game. You know, in today's it got the eternal thing that saves automatically, but back in the, you know, when I was being raised,
Yeah, they get memory card. and shit.
well, I'm talking about the regular Nintendo. It wasn't no memory card.
Well,
Like
memory card
you
for
had
the-
to
you had to play the game, and once you cut it off,
You gotta
nigga, you
leave it
started
on.
all over again. Like you couldn't save your progress or none of that. You know, but just applying that to the game, like no, we gotta save our progress, man. And if you don't, you're gonna have to learn that lesson all over again, and it might be too late. According to Matthew 25, you had those foolish virgins that wasn't ready. They didn't save their progress. So then they had to go back and start all over again. And about time they got to where they needed to be, it was too late, man. The doors was closed. You know, so we just want to make sure that we're saving our progress, man, so that we don't have to go back over, you know, and have to establish something, man, that should have already been established. You know? But you got it out.
Come Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 28. For either they are mad when they be merry, or prophesy lies, or live unjustly, or else lightly forswear themselves.
Likely forswear themselves. So they'll make an oath and know that they lying. That's niggas today.
Nah, that ass.
You know? See, there was a particular time when Paul wrote that in Hebrews. He said when man make an oath, that put an end to strife. Because there was a point in time when somebody made an oath on something, it was like, okay, he ain't lying.
Right.
You know, even gang banging. You know, back in, you know, where we from, you know, it was GDs, vice lords, you know. I put that on the G.
On the boss.
You know?
Larry.
And when a nigga out here put that on Larry, like when you did that okay, this nigga ain't lying. You know, I know he ain't gonna put it on that. Like he ain't lying. You know? But now you got nigga, it has become so degenerate now. It's like, bro, a nigga lie even when he say that.
They will lie on his kids.
A nigga lie on
Mama.
my dead granny grave.
Niggas stay on God, man.
God.
Yeah.
I was thinking
It
about
be
my
lying.
dad. God, shit. On my new kids right now. Drop dead, die.
Or
Every
my
day.
unborn children. Nigga ain't even got no children yet. He putting it on something that ain't even cursed.
Shit.
Curse the whole bloodline.
Nigga come out with
What
autism
do-
now.
you said-
But go ahead, out.
That nigga bugged out. It's the Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 29. For in so much as their trust is in idols, which have no life, though they swear falsely, yet they look not to be hurt.
Yeah. Because they know that idol is nothing. See, really deep down, they know that the idol is nothing.
Right.
That's why they don't have no fear in lying on an idol.
Right.
You know?
I'm the Virgin Mary.
Nigga be completely lying like a
shit.
mug. I didn't steal your dollar. Nigga dollar in your pocket like a mug. I ain't got it.
Well, he
I
spent
put that on, and he got your phone in his pocket the whole time.
Helping you look for it.
You know?
That's fucked up.
Helping you look for it.
But go ahead.
This is verse 30. Howbeit for both causes shall they be not well. Salakia.
Slow down.
Salakia. It says, howbeit for both causes shall they be justly punished,
Mm-hmm.
both because they thought not well of Yahweh, giving heed unto idols, and also unjustly swore in deceit, despising holiness.
Right. So the Lord gonna fuck you up for putting it on an idol,
Yeah.
and the Lord gonna fuck you up for not keeping that oath that you put on that idol. You see? That's what we dealing with the Lord, man. See, one act of disobedience can have multiple offenses. The water, that's the word. Like a woman committing adultery.
Yeah.
Did 3.
And Sirach, she commits 3 offenses in that one act of adultery, man. You know, it says that she sinned against her husband. You know, she sinned against the law of the Lord. She thought not well of the Most High.
And she brought.
And if she
another
get
heir.
pregnant, now that's if she
If
get pregnant. If she get pregnant, that's another offense that she brought in heirs unto another man.
Wow.
You know, but now we'll apply that to idolatry, because the Lord looks at idolatry as spiritual adultery.
Yeah.
So those are many offenses that come with that one act. You see?
Just building up a tab.
So that's why we gotta take our walk serious, man. Take what we are part of seriously. You know, you got niggas that's amongst this they think, you know, like Apostle Gabar says, man, we walking on eggshells, man. We ain't just walking through, you know. If you walk in that tightrope, you got to make sure that every step you take is secure. Because if you walk in that tightrope, so it's a balancing act that you got to do. You're not just walking. You want to make sure that you're properly balanced before you take the pressure off the next foot, man. You know? But go ahead.
Verse 31, for it is not the power of them by whom they swear, but it is the just vengeance of sinners that punisheth always the offense of the ungodly.
So once again, man, there's a judgment coming for these things, man. You know, the just vengeance of the Lord that's going to be put upon, you know, this society and these people.
Shit, boy.
You know, so we want to make sure that we're doing all we can to escape that vengeance, that judgment. You know, I know I had called for that Psalms 115 earlier, but it kind of we can probably end it on that Psalms 115. Matter of fact, if you got something, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to read that last verse from the GNT. It says, verse 31, when unrighteous people commit sin, they will be hunted down, not by the power of whatever thing they swear by, but by the punishment that sinners deserve. And, you know, just the way that it's worded had me think about that Numbers, man. It says, know that your sin will find you out. You know, so the Lord is going to visit for all these things. Like, that's why this judgment is going to be so crucial. Because even then, like, you know, like how we was talking about these different cats, they say on God and on my mama. It's like, bro, the Lord going to come visit you for all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Be lying like a motherfucker, man. So it says they're going to be hunted down.
Yeah. That threatenings towards sinners
Angry threatenings
are importable.
You know?
The prayer of Manasseh, man. Meaning that the Lord is able to come through with what he said, man. You know, so these different things, man, that we're reading about, and the Lord talking about, I'm finna visit for that.
It's a promise.
Yeah.
I've come for thy words. By thy words shall you be justified. By your words shall you be condemned.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
from the top,
Yeah.
the Psalms chapter 115 and verse 1. Not unto us, O Yahweh, not unto us, but unto thy name give glory.
Mm-hmm.
For thy mercy.
And that's the spirit we in, man. You know, glory be unto the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, right? Go ahead.
For thy mercy and for thy truth's sake. Wherefore should the heathen say, where is now their God?
Right. And you know, the Lord ain't gonna allow that to happen, man. Even in Micah, it talks about the nigger woman. She that is thy enemy shall see it, that say, where is thy God? You know, and you got individuals, man, they don't necessarily have to say that. Their actions and how they treat you say it's that.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And there's going to be a judgment for all that, man.
How they view you.
Yeah, you know. Go ahead.
It says, wherefore should the heathen say, where is now their God? But our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased.
Mm-hmm.
Their idols are silver and gold, the work of men's hands.
In today's time, it ain't even silver and gold. You know? It's a goddamn hologram.
It's on the screen. It says, they have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They make that, so like it, they that make them are like unto them.
Mm-hmm.
So is everyone that trusteth in them.
So is everyone that trusteth in them. You know, you ain't shit. Let the multitude perish that was born in vain. You know? Can't speak through your throat. You can't see. You can't hear. You can't smell.
You can't walk.
But it's supposed to help you.
That's how the Lord looks at these people that trust in those things, man. You know? So that's why the Lord said, let the dead bury the dead. These people, they consider dead to the Lord because they worship dead things. You know? So, is more in there?
Yeah, one more.
I'll go read one more for you. It says, O Israel, trust thou in the Lord, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. He is their help and their shield.
Yes, that's it. You know, so that's what we're here to tell you. You know, Yahweh Basham Yahushua is our God, man. You know, and he's going to shield us. He's going to protect us. He's going to guide us. He's going to comfort us, man. You know, he's going to lead us soberly in our goings. You know, we just have to make sure that we're operating in his good graces. You know, that we're being obedient unto his instructions that he's given us. And that we're aware of all these pitfalls and traps that's out here. So that we're protecting ourselves from that. Like it's written in Proverbs, the 4th chapter, guard thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. You know, it literally says keep thy heart. But that word keep means to guard or protect. You know? It's Natazar. Mm-hmm. So that's it, man. Jake got closing precepts.
I got one. I don't know if you read Wisdom of Solomon 15:6.
Go ahead.
This Wisdom of Solomon 15:6. Both they that make them and they that desire them and they that worship them are lovers of evil things and are worthy to have such things to trust upon. You know? So hey, man, in a time of trouble, man, let your idols rise up and save you, man. You're worthy to have those things to believe in, man. You know, I mean, you're not gonna have no help in the day of trouble. You're just gonna be food.
Left for dead.
But all right, so Lord will, man, we hope this was edifying. Lord Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, for giving us the spirit to do this lesson. We'll give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach
Give honors to our apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to all you brothers preaching the gospel in truth and sincerity, all in charity. Shalom.
Shalom.